Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Hello, everyone. I know it's a change of face a bit. I'm Kaya May. I will also be joined by my lovely co-host Canuck Clay later on, in like 30 seconds for the show. I just have a little message from Sports Interaction to get us started. The Vancouver Canucks beat the Anaheim Ducks 3-2 in overtime. Thanks to JT Miller and 2 goals from him. Just a little message beforehand. Want to bet? Then get in on the action at Sports Interaction. The boys of summer are back on the diamond and March Madness is on deck. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN or in Ontario, download the app now using the QR code at the bottom of the screen. 19 plus, please play responsibly. All right, now I will be joined today by the amazing Canuck Clay. How are you?
Kaya, I don't know if I'm amazing. I think you're the amazing one. Thank you for pinch hitting. Everyone, hi, I'm Canuck Clay. You know that's Kaya May. We are 2/3 of Game Over Vancouver. And it's kind of funny. It's our show. Technically, I was the one supposed to be running the show. And I said to Kaya at lunchtime, you want to join me? She said, sure. And then 5 minutes before I was supposed to come on, maybe I got too excited because the Canucks won. My battery shows at 2% on my laptop. So Kaya, just be ready. I may crap out in 2 minutes and 5 minutes and 20 minutes. I'll figure out another way to get on, but thank you for saving my butt once again.
No worries. No worries.
So it's a busy show because we wanted to, first segment, let's break down this game and talk about if any of it matters. Second segment, I do want to talk about what you, Kaya, I haven't actually got a chance to talk to you, your expectations for the last 19 games of the season, who's playing well, who's not. And then I also want to touch on International Women's Day and your involvement in it, if that's cool. And then we'll take a couple of questions at the end for our third segment. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome.
Okay, tell me, you led with it. JT Miller, another 2 points, 2 goals, very noticeable. Tell me, aside from that, tell me your thoughts on this game overall.
Game overall, I know Rick Tocchet said we're playing meaningful games in March. We shouldn't be at the rate that everything else happening this season. We shouldn't be. I don't know what planet he's on, but it is not Earth, where the Vancouver Canucks are in the bottom of the league. And yeah, we might be out of the Bedard conversation, but like we're not headed for the playoffs. Like,
right,
the Montreal Canadiens ruined it for everyone. There's not going to be a Cinderella run. We're not making it. There's no hope here. Our pursuit is our pursuit for a good draft pick at this point. That's what it should be. Right. Yeah, I honestly was expecting another 8-5 game. I'm gonna be honest.
Me too.
Just with the way Anaheim's played this season, obviously they're going hard for Bedard. It's definitely been quite interesting to watch them, watch the scores from their games, because sometimes you're just very confused.
Yes.
Like, they didn't get their first regulation win until like 30 games into the season. That's kind of unheard of. Well, not necessarily unheard of, considering, well, I mean, unheard of in the modern era. I was thinking like the Washington Capitals inaugural season where they won 8 games overall. But like in the modern era, in 2022, it's a bit weird. Yeah. No, I was expecting another 8-5, which was an insane game. There's 8 goals in the third period, and in this game, there's like nothing. So yeah, I was expecting a lot more from this game, a lot more drama, a lot more intrigue, and it was just kind of, I mean, it was cool. There was another shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a bit lackluster considering what I was expecting. Like, still a good game from the Canucks, but obviously it's against Anaheim, so not exactly a hard competition. But
yes.
I did think it was a bit lackluster in the, I don't want to say suspense, but like the event that the last game was between these two teams. I guess you could say better goaltending, especially with Asher Demko. I think it's a 932 since returning from injury, which is insane. Not helping our tank, but whatever.
No, but you're so right. It's such a contrast to that game in November where it was, and I think Kuzmenko had a bunch of points, Petey had a bunch of points, and that game we had Spencer Martin in goal, and they had John Gibson at least to start that game, I believe. But yes, what a contrast, and it's almost like Kai. I'm sure I won't make you agree, but you may agree that it's kind of like none of them wanted to get hurt, so none of them wanted to. You just look at the kind of the hustle stats. There's only 2 minor penalties, both taken by the Canucks. There was 21-12 were the hits, 15-12 blocks. So those aren't like pedestrian brutal numbers, but we've seen way higher numbers. We've seen games where Canucks have hit 25, 30, 35 times. So only 21 hits, only 2 power plays. It kind of speaks to the intensity. And I know a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on TV, even Shorty and John, John Garrett, they didn't say it was boring, but they talked about how there was a lot of time between whistles, i.e. continuous play. They didn't say it was good play. They just said it was continuous play. It's almost like running time when you kind of want to get things done. So I don't know what it was like, Kai, in the arena. Obviously, you and I weren't there, although we were there on Monday night together. We weren't there together tonight. And it just seemed like a more listless game. Even Monday night, I don't know you agree, against Nashville, I thought the atmosphere was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty fun compared to like some other games I've been to or in the past. I mean, nothing can match like the Montreal Canadiens 7-6 win, but from this
That's when we met.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, I felt like the energy was decent in the building. For the Nashville game, Archer Seelovs was in net. It was great to see him play. It was the shootout, like there was energy in the shootout. It was weird.
Right.
Like I've only ever seen one other shootout at Rogers Arena, and it was last year against Ottawa, which Adam Gaudette won.
Great.
For Ottawa in the 5th round. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was with my friend who's a Sens fan. It was terrible.
Okay.
But yeah, it was definitely more energy. I felt like it was even though it was a late start game,
sure.
People are more tired. 7:30.
This one was almost as late starting though, 7:25, right?
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, I'm not gonna get back in time for the start of the first, and I'm like pulling into the driveway, and I turn on my TV, and my stream is still like kind of delayed, but like they were just finishing the anthems. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. So it's good. I'm glad Wednesday night's my church night, so I knew I was gonna miss the first period. So I'm glad you caught it, and you got to see a Troy Terry goal where Di Giuseppe, Juleson, Hughes, Besser, and Miller just kind of let it happen. It was weird. He just kind of floated into the middle of the ice right in front of Demko, and no one picked him up.
Yeah. Of all the players on the Ducks, of the notable players, which honestly there aren't that many of, Troy Terry is definitely one you have to watch out for, considering he is basically their everything guy, and potential future captain, I've seen on Twitter.
Yes. Do you like him more than Zegras?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Zegras is a jerk.
Watch it, you'll sound like John Tortorella. But
that was good.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, I think Troy Terry is definitely he was their all-star this year. He's definitely a player you need to watch out for. It's like when when other teams are playing us and they're always watching Elias Pettersson, you have to always watch Troy Terry. And Phil DiGiuseppe, I guess he thought that Quinn was gonna go for him. That was my assumption of the play. He thought Quinn was gonna go for him. He didn't. And
good point.
He just kind of like stopped following his guy, which was not the right choice because then Troy Terry scores.
Yeah. And Quinn Hughes not following a guy is a common theme. There's only one other goal to talk about. We'll get to that in a second. Then speaking of not really following your guy, a very weird lackluster play by Anaheim on our shorthanded goal where Miller or Petey, one of them, cleared the puck down. How do you pronounce the goalie's name? Is it Dostal or
Dostal? I think it's Lukas Dostal something.
Okay, well, you say it way better.
It's because the S and the little thing on the S, and it's
okay.
It's Eastern European stuff.
Well, you say it way better than of the two of us. I think people would look at us and think you might be better at pronouncing Eastern European. Anyways, so
look at the J in my name. I have experience.
I can't even get through an English sentence without stuttering. Dostal, I'll just call him Dost. I think of Posto, and I put a D on it. So Dosto tries to put the puck to his own player. Pettersson, we know how good his hand-eye is, knocks it down. and then patiently, very patiently, just kind of ho hum sees JT Miller out of the corner of his eye coming streaking towards the middle, and then a nice like only skilled players can do this. It was a backhand pass perfectly right to the slot, and Miller, credit to him as well, good hustle and good finish. And was it like something like 8 shorthanded goals since Talkett's taken over? That's crazy.
Yeah, and they have like those two together have like 12 shorthanded points this season, I think. Obviously Horvat kind of helped with some of that because he
Yes.
had all the shorthanded goals, I think. Or maybe
True.
PD had one before he got traded. But still,
Yeah.
those two have been killer on the penalty kill. Considering the penalty kill has been awful
Mhm.
in the last bit, who knew that putting, our best player, Elias Pettersson, not JT Miller, just in case anybody's confused, you can go back a few months to see my JT Miller rant, because that was 20 minutes.
I remember it.
Yeah, Elias Pettersson with the penalty kill, he's an everything man. Like,
he's so good.
He's so good. Yeah. And JT Miller and him, they seem to be quite a team now on the penalty kill. You get the 2 against the Leafs, which was not expecting. That was another game where I was like, oh, this is lackluster, and then they do that on the same penalty kill, and Phil Giuseppe is just sitting there.
Yes, I'm with you. Oh, by the way, and because for those of you that were here from the very start, Kaya basically saved my butt. I was supposed to be hosting, but I was happy for her to run everything. So technically she's hosting, but I'm supposed to do all the reminders. So I forgot to say at the very start, because I was so rattled, subscribe to SDPN, subscribe to this channel, Game Over Vancouver. We're on here. All 7 Canadian cities are on the SDPN network, which we're very proud to be a part of. So make sure you subscribe and like the video, listening on a podcast platform, rate and review as well. And then Kaya, really quickly, where can people follow you on Twitter as well? We forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you want to, but I'm at Real Kaya May on Twitter.
Real Kaya May. I'm at Canuck Clay. We rhyme. That's why we're together for a good time. I'm a poet. I didn't know it. Let's get back to this game. So second period, Andrei Kuzmenko, a really great play. Started with Quinn Hughes and then PD to Beauvillier, and then Beauvillier gets to Kuzmenko, puts it at Kuzmenko's trying to get it to Hughes. It never makes it to him. Hughes gets tries to get to PD, never gets to him. Instead, it goes off a Ducks player into the back of the net, and Kuzmenko, guess what? Kaya has his 30th goal of the season in. Not a Calder. He can't win the Calder. He's too old. But in his rookie season, pretty darn impressive.
It is pretty darn impressive considering the last. It was the last rookie to do it was Bure, right?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't just specifically like Russian rookie, like it was rookie. I saw a tweet about it, and I don't remember if the word Russian was in it, but
yes. Rookie, yes.
Unless a rookie. Okay, cool. Unless they put like Russian rocket, because like that also context actually makes sense because Pavel Bure.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Since 1992, which was 10 years before I was born. So.
Thank you for reminding me. Everyone knows that. Yes, Kaya. Wait, you were born in 02?
Yeah.
Not even 01.
Not even 01.
So you fit between my 2 boys in terms of ages. So yes, okay. And Kaya knows it's out of love when I say I truly am old enough to be her father. Because yes, and that's a good thing. The SDPN crew calls me the YouTube dad. I will gladly take that. So we're up 2-1. Kuzmenko scores his 30th. All is good. And then I was coming downstairs, and my wife said, "Wow, that was a quick goal." And I thought she was talking about the Kuzmenko goal. And 20 seconds later, off of a face-off, a broken play, Myers and Hughes confused. Hughes doesn't pick up McGinn. I don't even know if that was supposed to be his guy. And now it's 2-2. Did you actually see that when it happened, or were you? Yeah, did you catch that goal?
I honestly was just kind of shocked. I didn't see the puck go in.
Right.
Because I'm like, I have the game on. I also had like the International Women's Day SDPN video going on with the premiere and everything, and then I have a history test tomorrow, so I'm like trying to read about Benito Mussolini, and I look up and it's 2-2. Like when did that happen?
You're the first person who's worked in live stream International Women's Day and Mussolini in one sentence. That's amazing.
The Anaheim Ducks, Benito Mussolini, and International Women's Day.
So wait a sec. You have a midterm tomorrow, and yet you're helping me out. Okay, even more props to you, my dear. I appreciate. Thank you. You're the best. You're truly the best.
It's only European history. It's not like it's hard.
Awesome. So what'd you think of the goal? What'd you think of the goal?
I thought it was not a great play by the Canucks. I mean, there's obviously going to be goals you want to have back, but a goal that quick just after you just scored. I mean, admittedly, it was an own goal off of Mason McTavish, so thank you for that, for getting, like, kudos to you. Kudos to you. I wish we had own goals like soccer does. Because, yeah, that would be a really funny Twitter.
Yeah, but then it would take away from some of our stats, though.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
I don't know. Apparently, there's a Whitecaps game today. They won 5-0, which is insane for soccer. Yeah. But they're playing for the CONCACAF Super League. Against Real España. Like I believe they're a Mexican team. But yeah, one of the goals was an own goal. I think it was the third. Might have been the third or fourth. But apparently in the arena, oh my gosh, in the stadium at BC Place, like next door to the arena, they said the player that scored it, they said España for the player. So the other team, and I was like, that would be hilarious. Just like scored, Canucks goal scored by Anaheim number 37, Mason McTavish.
Assisted by Postal, the goalie. Very good. So speaking of 20 seconds, and by the way, good call on the own goals. Speaking of 20 seconds in overtime. Again, I didn't even have time to sit down. I actually, you know what I was doing? I was getting ready for the stream that I thought I was going to host. And then I hear the kids yelling and screaming because they don't believe in this tank thing. They still want them to win. And JT Miller, it's just kind of theme of the night. Casually, it's not a lot of speed, not a lot of urgency. Just kind of comes in and puts a really wicked wrist shot past the goalie.
Yeah, he did that thing that he normally does for shootouts, which he goes in from the side. He goes in super slow. Every time he does that, I'm pretty sure I recorded like every video of the shootout from the Nashville game, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, don't do it again, JT. Like, why are you doing this? And he did the same thing in overtime. I'm like watching, and I was like, I can't believe this game went to overtime. I can't believe it's the Anaheim Ducks, bro. It's the Anaheim Ducks. You went to overtime. I mean, they gave them a point.
Yep.
Then again, Columbus.
Yep.
But yeah, he did that thing, and I was expecting it to go nowhere, and then he just like, whoop, and I'm like, okay, well that's one heck of a 700th game.
Thank you for bringing that up. 700th game for JT Miller, and he's the first star. So let's wrap up this first segment, wrapping up this game. With that win, the Canucks still cement their spot in 26th place overall, but now not just looking down at the 6 teams below them, Montreal, Arizona, Anaheim, San Jose, Chicago, and Columbus. They are tied in points with Philadelphia and St. Louis. So Kaya, don't look now, but with a couple more wins, and that's the 4th time now that the Canucks have won 3 games in a row. Kaya, with a couple more wins, they could actually leapfrog Philly and St. Louis and become the 9th worst team in the league, not the 5th, 6th, or 7th that they were floating around for the past little bit.
No,
I know, isn't that crazy?
No, that's the thing is I hate both Philly and St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to succeed, but please win a game. Like when we played Philly the last time and we beat them in February, they had a way better record than we did. And I was shocked because Philly, I was going into this year, I was like, oh, they're going to be terrible. Like John Tortorella, and then they had a better record than us. I was like, oh, wow, we really are bad. And then, and then now it's like they're matching us. I'm like, no,
yes,
please.
Kaya, hold that thought. This is where we take that pause where I guess I'm not going to make you do it. I'll still edit the audio, but I got to get it from you. Oh, this is so messed up. Anyway, we'll take a quick 2-second pause so we can insert our ad read and then we'll get to our second segment. Perfect. So Kaya, you're sitting there watching the Nashville game. And I don't want to, I always say on my streams, I can't tell someone how to fan, how to spend money, how to spend their time, how to cheer for tank, no tank. You tell me, when you're sitting there watching that game, watching PD do his thing against Nashville, in your heart of hearts, are you cheering for a win? Are you cheering for a loss? Are you truly indifferent? Tell me how you're feeling, whether it's tonight or let's use our example being at the game on Monday night.
I'm cheering for my favorite players to do well. and the players I don't like to not do well. Like on the Nashville game, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I hope Roman Josi gets a point. Like that's like I love Roman Josi on the Nashville Predators. Amazing. Like I went to the Rangers game. I was like, I hope Mika Zibanejad scores, and he did. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm fine with. I saw Mika Zibanejad score a goal. I'm fine with it. At this point, I'm neither team tank. Like yes, I talk about tanking a lot because it could be beneficial. Like we're not getting Bedard. Like I'm past that point of delusion. We're not getting Bedard. But like a high draft pick could be nice. But then I remember my favorite player is Brock Besser. He's literally, I don't know if I'll get the, I have Brock Besser. I'm wearing Brock Besser socks right now. Wait, can I get my, you can't see me on the Zoom camera right now, but I'm like trying to get my foot in
I do.
Camera.
Actually, I do have the stream up on a different monitor, so go ahead. I would love to see this, even though that's 7 seconds delayed. So
I have Brock Besser socks on right now. Like my favorite player was a 23rd overall. Well, I guess we don't have a late pick, late first rounder. Anyway, thanks, Patrick.
By the way, great flexibility. If I did that, you'd have to be picking me up off the floor.
Oh, so yeah, no, I definitely pulled like 5 different muscles I didn't know I had. So I'll find out like tomorrow. I hit my 20s and everything went downhill 3 months ago. So
well, wait to get to your 48. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and it's 28 years. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought we just made. Okay, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Anyway, so
no
so
peace. No peace.
Cheering for your favorite players, cheering against your least favorite players. So all to say, so Nashville, you're fine with that result. But you make a really good point, Kaya, though, about not being. And I always say on my streams, and I know you've seen me say this, is I for the longest time I couldn't even say the word, but I'm not stupid. I know what's at stake, especially this season. And I have people in the chat imploring me, embrace the dark side. And I can say the word tank. I'm a 48-year-old grown man. I can say the word tank. I just don't think that it's a true thing, at least from a player standpoint. You can set lineups and sit guys out. That's certainly fair. But this team is too talented to, on average, if we put a bunch of average guys, an average effort against a Columbus or Chicago or Anaheim average effort, not 9 times out of 10, but the majority of times we're going to win. And that's why very slowly, Kai, we're kind of creeping up the standings, maybe at the worst possible time. It's just strength of schedule, a new coach, all these things kind of all leaning towards results that some fans, even in our chat tonight, don't want.
That's one thing I will say. You mentioned new coach, like obviously Rick Tocchet comes in. It's a new face for the Canucks. Obviously under some scrutiny considering how the Bruce Boudreau situation was handled. But when he comes into this team, people always talk about a new coach bump, which obviously happened with Boudreau with like a 7-game win streak. Like that was insane. But then we didn't win consecutive games under Tocchet until like this past week.
Like, that's true.
If we were either on a losing streak or we were win, lose, win. Like that was the only way we were winning games. Yeah, we won a few games after he got in because we were playing Chicago. They could be relegated to the ECHL right now. And no one would bat an eye. Maybe at like Seth Jones's contract, but like other than that, like, who cares? Yeah, I mean, that was pretty funny. The Rick Tocchet, I do think he's had an effect on some players though. Like, the penalty kill is definitely. And I'm not sure if it's Tocchet, because specifically because we also brought in Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar.
Actually, but Kaya, that's a great point. I was going to ask you give me 1 or 2 things that you've noticed different in the past 20 games because of the new coach.
Penalty killing has definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
Arguably, power play has gotten a little bit less offensive. It gives me more Travis Green vibes than Bruce Boudreau vibes when we're on the power play. But for the penalty kill, we've definitely gotten better. I mean, look at the shorthanded points. Look at the goals tonight against Toronto. We've definitely had more. I don't want to say we've been more aggressive because we are aggressive off the start of the season.
Yes.
And now you mentioned off the top about how guys don't want to get hurt and like we're not hitting less. We also got rid of like the guy who holds the record for most hits by a defenseman in the NHL like a week ago. So, and I've been heartbroken ever since. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But
like that.
that's such a good point, Kaya, because I was thinking, and it's not like we're being world beaters. I get it. This was Anaheim. Nashville is not even a playoff spot. Though there was a win over Dallas, so I get they haven't been the most amazing teams ever, but it's impressive when you think of who's not here. Bo, Luke Shen, McKaev's injured, Pierce is injured, OEL, no matter what you think of him, he's injured. Ethan Bear's injured. So that's 6 guys that a month ago were in our lineup. So that's 1/3 of the skaters in a game. So when you look at our defense and we're doing this with decor that has Wolanin, Burrows, Breezeball, and Juleson, that is impressive.
It is impressive that we've had such a defensive bump, and I mean, I also think that helped with the new Breezeball signing the other day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Having him back for another 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that unfortunately a lot of injuries on our defense as well as trading, Stillman, Shen, have opened up spaces for our defense.
Right.
It gives the players like Juleson, Brisebois,
Yep.
Wolanin. So I was like, I know the other guy. Wolanin, Burrows as well, because he was scratched for a long time.
Yeah. Forgot he was on the team. Exactly.
Yeah, he was scratched a lot, especially under Talkett. I don't know if it's Arizona Coyotes favoritism because Corey Stillman, Riley Stillman, Arizona Coyotes. Anyway, just nepotism babies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that this team has had its rough patches this season. Do I think they could be a contender within the next 2 years? No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do think that we can be a playoff team
Yeah.
in a few years, but we're going to be a wild card 3rd division spot at best. I mean,
Yes.
I'd say 3rd division because also just the Western Conference is always crazy.
Yeah.
Especially the Pacific Division. So who knows if Edmonton, I'd say the Canucks could be contending by the time that Leo Draisaitl leaves the Oilers in 2025. So
Okay.
yeah,
2 years. Okay.
2 years. I am waiting for that day when Edmonton gets a little less good.
Yeah.
That's I think when the Canucks, or if Calgary decides to kind of give up, which I don't think they will, but like at some point probably should. Seattle, I feel like that's going to be the team to beat for a little bit in our division. Vegas, obviously. LA.
And LA's up and down. They haven't,
weird.
Yeah, they haven't taken the big step that everyone thought, yet there's still potential there for sure.
And a lot of their players are aging, and like Drew Doughty was, popular when I was a child, and now he's still playing. And
imagine how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they still have a lot of good prospects, but at the same time, Vancouver has had also had a lot of good prospects, and look where we still are today. You could be like, oh, Quinton Byfield is going to change the LA Kings defense. I'm like, we have Quinn Hughes, and our defense still sucks. Not anything on Quinn Hughes. This is not a knock on Quinn Hughes, despite pucks like to knock him in the face or sticks sometimes and not getting called.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, tonight was a puck, but there have been other worse times.
Yeah, that's a good point. People always say, well, he never smiles. He always looks like he's in pain. Well, that's because he gets hit every game.
Yeah, exactly. He has to play 30 minutes a night. He's always compared to like his 2 younger brothers, and as an older sibling, I would hate that.
Yeah.
And you're always getting hit with stuff. Like, that sucks. That sucks. Like, yeah, he gets paid like millions of dollars, but still, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it still sucks. Yeah.
I also remember Curtis Lazar, another player we traded that was good
Yep.
at hitting people, even though he was injured for a while. But have
all
fun
good
in
points.
New Jersey.
All good points. All right, let's before we wrap up the second segment, and then we'll wrap up by taking a couple of questions from the crew. So start thinking about your questions that you can submit. Today was International Women's Day, and there was SDPN did an entire show on it, comprised of 3 different panels. You were a part of it. So firstly, happy International Women's Day, Kaya, and tell us about your experience. And if people maybe either tonight after this show or maybe tomorrow they want to check out the show on this channel, we encourage you to do so. Maybe sum up your experience on that show and kind of who was on there and what you talked about. I caught some of it as I was setting up and I was watching the game, and it looked great. It sounded great, and congrats on doing it for sure. And I'll just say this, and then I'll be quiet. On this particular platform, we are blessed with so many strong women in this community, and it's pretty cool. I showed that 10. If I was hosting today and if I was more organized, I was going to show the video that all the SDPN crew did for me for my recent YouTube milestone, which was very cool. So, and I'm so blessed to be part of this community, especially with the strong women and many of you are involved. So tell us about the show that you guys did and what was your role in it?
So pretty much, so today, obviously International Women's Day, Clay mentioned that. It was an idea from our other Game Over Vancouver co-host, Samantha Chang. Amazing. We love Sam. And it was comprised of a bunch of the women involved in Game Over, as well as Liz Knox, on Noxie and Cax. Yeah. So Rachel Dory, yes. So, and also people from external sources. It was Liz Knox, Allison Lucan, Rachel Dory, Liz from Game Over Winnipeg, me, Lauren from Game Over Toronto, Sam from Game Over Vancouver as well, and Annie O'Donnell. So it was a group of women who have different perspectives on like what they were involved in, whether as athletes, as fans, as content creators, as front office, having experience in front offices throughout the NHL. It was a very cool thing to be a part of, especially considering, hockey is a very, it's the NHL is like, the big league, and it's very male dominated considering it's a men's league, but there are women's leagues as well that you should definitely 100% pay attention to. But yeah, aside from that, it is a very male dominated world of sports in general. Yeah. So I felt honored to be a part of it, be included with it. I dropped the link in the chat if anyone is
great multitasking. I'm just sitting here and my hands were like this. I'm not doing anything. And then I'm watching you on this screen, listening to you on this screen, and then I see the link on my phone go up, and I say, "Wow, you're really good."
Yeah, it's multitasking. I have to do it a lot.
No, I love it. And blessed are you among women. I'm with two wonderful women as part of the Game Over crew. Maybe that's why Game Over Vancouver is so good, is because 2/3 of you are females, and there's old me. So congratulations, and yes, please check that show out tonight. After this or tomorrow or anytime you want to, because 3 different panels on 3 specific topics, and I think everyone out there, obviously male or female, will really appreciate the listen. So good job. When did you guys record that, by the way? Today?
Throughout today, yeah. It was a lot of recorded sessions. Yeah, it was
who spliced it together then?
Producer Rob. Shout out to Rob. Amazing. Always does amazing work. We love him.
Yeah.
And then so shout out to Sam for the idea. Shout out Andrew and Rob for helping us put it all together. It was an amazing thing to be a part of. And happy International Women's Day. There's still lots of work to do in the sphere of women in hockey specifically, but women in sports in general. And it was a very empowering discussion about
awesome. Well, let's do this. Let's do just 3 or 4 minutes of questions, and then you can go back to studying. I'll go back to charging my computer before I try and do my stream tonight. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but let's worry about that later. So everyone in the chat, thank you. It peaked at over 60 people today, which is awesome. And it helps when you're the only game that went this late tonight. And we would love to hear any questions you have for Kaya or me specifically, both of us, about the game, about the rebuild, about the retool, the tank, International Women's Day, whatever you want. We'll just do this for a few minutes and then we will get going if that works.
Okay.
Peter, do you want to? Yeah, go for it.
Peter says, where do you honestly see the Canucks finishing in the draft position? I say 5 through 10.
Yeah, and if you have to get more specific, if you don't count lottery, I'd say in the middle of that, 8 or 9. So I'm with you.
Who's more handsome, Benning or Rutherford? They both kind of look like Muppets to me.
Yeah, but if you had to pick one, I'm going Benning. If I had to pick one,
I'm going Alvin. I know that's not an option. I would say, I don't know. Rutherford looks like Kermit and Benning looks like the Eagle. But also, the Eagle has been compared to Oscar Isaac, who I think is handsome, so I'm going to say Benning.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, love Oscar Isaac. Anyway.
Fangirl is asking you specifically, because I know she's asked me this before. Do you think Shen resigns in Vancouver in the offseason? And the second part's hard. If not, where would he go? That's tough. But if you want to take a stab at it,
I say it's either Vancouver or Toronto. He said he wants to win his third cup in Toronto, which I understand. You know, that's where he started. And Toronto has a while to go, but they've waited a few years. Yeah. Clay, do you remember the last time? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Believe it or not, I wasn't born yet, Kaya.
Yeah, so. I know. But sorry, I had to get one last joke in there. I had to get one. I love it. In there.
I love you. I love that. That was fine. Okay, we got 2 more questions, and we'll wrap up. Kaya, who's the ultimate anti-tank commander for you? Is it Kuzmenko? Is it PD? Who's the anti-tanker right now?
It's Kuzmenko, because I feel like tanking involves a lot of sadness. I feel like the tank commander, it's either sadness or chaos, so the tank commanders would be like Quinn Hughes or Tyler Myers. And the anti-tank commander is just the guy that keeps everybody happy, is always caffeinated, so I relate. Kuzmenko, I'd say, is the anti-tank commander.
Yeah, because you usually don't see a guy smiling while driving a tank. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. And lastly, let's go for Derek's question. I'll give you a second to think about it. My favorite Canuck player of all time is actually Roberto Luongo. So I was so thrilled when I got to meet him on that December 1st night when he was honored by the Canucks. And I was hanging out waiting for Marie Huey, who sang the anthems that night, and waiting to meet her. And here comes this tall, decent looking kind of bow-legged guy walking out, and it was indeed Roberto. So I got a chance to congratulate him and meet him, and that was pretty cool. Who is your favorite Canucks player of all time?
Roberto Luongo is definitely up there. As well. He was kind of one of my idols growing up a bit. I wanted to be a goalie just like him. And then I realized women can't play in the NHL, apparently. So I was sad as a 7-year-old. But he was definitely one of my favorites growing up. Obviously, the Sedins. I say a lot of that 2011 team I really liked. The Sedins, Burrows, Kessler, they were all part of my favorites. Current favorite Canuck, I'd say Brock Besser, and he's definitely creeping up on the all-time list as well. I just think he's a great guy on and off the ice, and I hope he stays with the organization through the summer. I will definitely cry more if he gets traded. I've only ever cried on 2 trades, and only one of them has been the Canucks. So
what was the other one?
Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh.
I was a huge Matthew Tkachuk fan, and
That's fair.
I liked him when he was in Calgary, and now he's across the continent, and I can't watch Florida games all the time because they're always at like 4 p.m. or 1 because they're weird beach games, and anyway. I didn't cry over the Horvat trade. It was the Shen trade.
Okay. Yes. I saw you collapsing in the snow in the Shen trade. Not the Horvat. Well, there's no snow, but yes.
Was there? No.
Not for the Horvat trade. That's what I mean. But for the Shen trade, there was.
Melting during the Horvat trade. A few days before. I remember because I had a canceled class that week. Right.
More dangerous to jump onto melting snow as opposed to actual snow.
Yeah, just gonna faceplant in the ground. Anyway,
Well, that's awesome. So Kaya, let's do this so I can actually earn a bit of my my keep here. Why don't I wrap this up? And if you're ready to just hit end stream as soon as I do my bad dad joke, does that work for you?
All good, and you can see my side live. All right, let's go.
I know. After my usual streams, I love getting you're usually the first comment in the chat. So before we wrap up, Real Kayame on Twitter, and how's your new podcast going, by the way? Growing the Game. Tell people about it real quick.
Oh, okay, sure. It's called Growing the Game. It comes out every second Friday. Awesome. My first guest was Clay. I had lists from Game Over Winnipeg. I have some local Surrey Eagles talk coming to you this week.
Sweet.
So it's going pretty good. I'm doing it pretty much just by myself, learning how to kind of do podcasting
Awesome.
through that lens of it, and yeah, it's pretty fun so far. But yes, anyway,
Great. That's awesome.
do
So
your
keep
dad
up the
joke.
great. Okay, I'm coming. So everyone, follow Kaya, Real Kaime. I'm at Canuck Clay. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to SDPN. Like the video on your way out, and make sure you check out the special episode celebrating International Women's Day. Check that out now or tomorrow. We appreciate you. Saturday night, it is Sam, because Kaya and I are not together, although it'd be cool to say hi. We are both at the game again. Vancouver,
Yes.
right? You're going?
Yes, I am
Yes.
going. I'm going to the Whitecaps game before too, so
Well, a double duty for you.
Yeah.
So yes, we are at the game, but Sam will be holding down the fort. So make sure you join her after the Senators take on the Canucks. And who knows, you guys might be talking about a 4th straight Canucks victory. Who would have thought that? So thanks again, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And Kaya, I have one question for you.
oh no, what
If
is it?
two vegans
Oh,
get
no.
into an argument, is it still considered a beef? Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
I'm sighing.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.